All right, everybody. It is 12:48, and it is time for the Vanguard Fitness Hour. I know we are it's 12:48 Eastern Time, 11:48 Central Time. I know we're like 49 minutes late. But don't worry about it. We are here. So we are getting ready to bring in the fitness guru, Mr. Mario Kuntz. I am your super producer, trying to say the super producer, and I will be giving you my updates on my workout regimen here. I think we got some things going on in regards to Adele for her before and after look. We got a full exercise routine going on as well towards the end of the show. So let me get him in here. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Mario Kuntz, the fitness guru. All right, Mario, it's all yours, bro. You got to unmute, brother. You got to unmute.
Hey, everybody. It's good to be back. Today is Friday, January 29th, 2021, and we are back with another episode of the Vanguard Fitness Hour. Thank you so much for joining us. We're glad to have you here, and we're looking forward to the opportunity to share with you all kinds of fitness information to make sure that you either start on the right track, continue on the right track, or remain on the right track. So we've got a lot of good information packed into this show. Looking forward to it. And despite the fact that we're getting started a little bit late, all good things come to those who wait. So I'm glad that you're here, glad that you decided to hang out with us, and we're ready for another exciting show. So with that being said, we're going to go ahead and get started because, as always, we've got 20 pounds of fitness information, motivation, and inspiration to stuff into a 10-pound bag. So it's time to get going. First thing off the bat, I wanted to get an update from our super producer. So we know those of you that have been following the program on a regular basis know that our super producer, Mr. Transe, has been engaging in his own fitness regimen. We didn't get into it too much last week, but we're into it now. And we want to find out where he is, what he's been doing, what challenges he's been facing, what successes he's been experiencing. We just want to get the full lowdown on what's going on with our super producer, Transe. So take it away. What's going on with that exercise regimen?
All right. Well, the exercise regimen is going to be headed towards the X-ray today.
What? X-ray? What's going on?
All right. So I had a doctor's appointment yesterday, virtual appointment with my doctor.
Okay.
Yeah, me and the wifey here. And so we are going to have some x-rays done to kind of take a look and see if there is not a collapsed disc.
Oh.
Yeah. So because the sciatica is still, it's still difficult to do certain things. So we want to get that, taken care of, figured out real quick, So definitely after the show, people, that's what's going on. That's what's happening there. We'll be going to take care of that business, and then
wow.
So it's as I said to my doctor, I keep moving. The overall exercise, the stretching and stuff like that. Kim has been immaculate in that, as far as helping me stretch. Pulling the knees. I think that's what is it? Do you pull your knee to your chest?
Yeah, that's considered a knee to chest stretch. So I use that a lot with a lot of my patients that are dealing with like lower back pain. So that's a really good one. There are, I have a lot of patients that deal with sciatic pain. It's very common, actually. So there's quite a few exercises and stretches that you can use that are specifically target toward that sciatic nerve to relieve some of that pressure off of that. And I think we need to touch base and actually get a one-on-one and get you in here in the office and work you through some of that to see if we can relieve some of it. But of course, that's going to be after the x-ray. You want to make sure there's nothing degenerative going on or nothing that needs immediate attention first. And then we can get into that prior to, after your physician is giving you approval to start on that kind of a regimen. But there's a ton of things you can do it. So, just keep in mind, you're not alone with sciatic pain. It's very common, but, it can be very restrictive, man. When you have that, it just interferes with a lot of your day-to-day activities. I'm sure you're experiencing some of that.
Oh, definitely. And I appreciate that. So as you see,
absolutely.
Once the doctor, has given me the okay, I can just say, look, I already have a physical therapist. Basically.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. Got you covered on that one, man.
So definitely, as I said, the stretches are great, and so that's what we're really looking at in that sense. So, like I said, today, after the show, probably about 2 o'clock, I'm gonna head up there and everything, and just of course, it's nothing as far as keeping me in prayer or anything. It's just basically, I want to get rid of the pain,
Oh yeah. Yeah. I understand. I definitely understand that, man.
So that's kind of also been a restriction as well. You know, um, One thing I do know is that walking once the mobility becomes I get the mobility and everything of that sort, then it starts to kind of subside. So the walking is very good. People, if you can walk, walk as much as possible. That definitely has been great. Um, like I said, stretching, and then we'll get into some stretch. I think once we do that, once we come out and I get the heads up for the doctor, then we'll probably do some shows in regards to, me doing the physical workout with Mario and
That'd be
everything.
fantastic. I think that'd be a great idea.
So that's enough for me.
Okay, well, I'm glad you mentioned that thing about the your piece about the walking and how that tends to give you a little bit of relief. There's a very common phrase that's used in physical therapy. I remember when I was going through my training, it came up quite a bit, and that phrase was "motion is lotion." So basically, what the best way to kind of put that into perspective, think about when you first get out of bed, and especially as you age, when you get out of bed, you're a little stiff. You don't pop out of bed like you used to when you were a teenager or a kid, right? So it kind of takes a minute, to that back to kind of straighten out. The legs are a little stiff and that sort of thing. But you find that once you're out of bed and you start to get moving, you don't notice that, and by the time you're talking about midday, mid-morning, midday, that's not even an issue anymore because the joints have become lubricated through that movement. So motion is lotion is very appropriate in terms of what you're talking about. So you want to do the opposite of what your body tells you to, because a lot of times you feel like, I'm sore, I just need to sit down and take it easy. And a lot of times that's one of the worst things you do, because that sedentary back to haunt you. You want to make sure that you're keeping yourself active. Just basic walking is accomplishing a lot of that. So I encourage you. I'm glad that you're taking the steps necessary. You're not just sitting back and waiting for things to get better. You're taking the steps to go and see your physician and get that addressed. I know you're going to be fine. And like I said, we're going to look forward to hearing that positive news from your physician, so we know what you need to be doing going forward. So I appreciate you sharing that with the audience.
Oh, no problem at all. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. All
Not a
right,
problem.
so
Not a problem.
what do we got? What do we got up next? What do we got up next?
Next up, I got a couple of exciting things, different attire today. So I want to kind of scroll down a little bit. So I have a former client of mine who took it upon herself to have this great shirt made. It's got the logo of the company on it, Vanguard Exercise Management. You can see that. Did a really good job having this shirt made. On the back, and hopefully you can see this all right. Are you able to see that, super producer?
Eat clean, stay focused. Yes, indeed. I believe
That's what.
see that. Yeah,
Train hard, eat clean, stay focused. She put that on
yeah.
the back of the shirt. So I was very surprised when I opened up that package and she said, "We got something. I got something for you. Be looking out for it." And when I saw this, I was just, oh man, this is fantastic. So I want to give a shout out to Verdell Burns. She is again a former client of mine. Worked with her in terms of personal training for quite a long time. And she took the initiative and sent me that wonderful gift. On top of that, she sent me this great mug. So it's got, again, the Vanguard motto on it: train hard, eat clean, stay focused. The Vanguard logo is on it. She pulled a picture off of the Vanguard Exercise Management website and put that on there. So I got my ugly mug on a coffee mug. And on the opposite side, it's just one of the posts that I put up. It's got some positive messages on there. Think positively, network, exercise daily, eat healthy, work hard, stay strong, build faith, and worry less. So this is has just become my brand new favorite coffee mug. So I really appreciate that. Thank you very much to Verdell Burns.
All right, look here, Verdell. Miss Burns, I need one of them too. I need a coffee mug, you know, maybe some house shoes, you know. Made that.
You get all that, Verdi? All right, good. So the next thing, before we get into our topics, there has been a lot of very disheartening news going on in the city that I'm closest to. I don't live in the city anymore, but I'm very close to it, and I spend a lot of time within the city of Chicago. And that has been the rash of carjackings that have been taking place in the city. And super producer, I know that you're familiar with this as well. It's very discouraging with everything that's going on. We didn't need this on top of everything else, but it seems like every day I turn on the news or pop open the paper, I'm seeing news about another carjacking. I had a nephew who was a victim of a carjacking. His 2010 Hellcat was stolen, and that's one of those cars that's on that hot list just because of the performance and the appearance of it, and it's a pretty expensive vehicle. He was a victim of that, so it really hit close to home. And I was listening to the radio, and the mayor of Chicago, Lori Lightfoot, was on a radio program addressing the issue. And ordinarily, I would be encouraged to hear some positive words about approaches that were going to be taken and steps that were going to be addressed to combat this. Now, how this gets into fitness, I'm going to tie that in. But I was very discouraged, not a little discouraged. One of the reasons, or one of the issues that she suggested to alleviate the problem was that kids need to be back in school. And it struck me a different way. Maybe some of the listeners will feel differently about it. I really feel that she politicized a safety issue. And what I mean by that is it's no surprise to any Chicagoan that the mayor is very in favor of making sure that schools are back open and children are doing in-person learning as opposed to virtual learning is what's going on right now. And to say that, the issue could be resolved partially by kids being back in school, I thought was a bad message. We're talking about thugs. We're talking about people that have no sense of regard for property, for human life. And despite the fact that a lot of these perpetrators tend to be young, it really does not. Here's the way I looked at it. A thug is going to be a thug. They're going to do what thugs do. A criminal is going to do what criminals do. A thief is going to steal. So to say that because schools are going to be open, that's going to go away is a little bit ridiculous to me. These are not people that say, oh, well, school's back in session. I need to be in the classroom and not be knocking people in the head. I don't think that's going to happen. I think that we need to take an active role in making sure that we are protecting ourselves against this kind of activity. And one of the things, actually, there's numerous things, and I really want our viewers that reside in the area to pay particular attention to this. Have your head on a swivel. That means don't get your face out of that phone. That means look around, check your surroundings, making sure that things don't look out of place. If someone's standing by a vehicle or you see something out of the ordinary, you got to pay attention to that sort of thing. And how does that tie into fitness? These thugs, these criminals prey on the weak or people that appear to be weak. It's a lot like when I'm watching the Nature Channel. You ever see a lion attack a group of antelope? Which ones do they go for? They go for the weakest one. They go for the one that looks injured. They go for the slowest one. And there's a reason for that. It's an easy catch. Don't be an easy catch. You need to make sure that you're walking around as if you're ready for whatever's coming at you. You need to walk upright. You need to be healthy. You need to be looking fit when you're just doing basic things like walking to your car from a grocery store or whatever the case might be. Now, I know that That's not going to help in all cases, because in some instances, these people are pulling out weapons and that sort of thing. And in that case, it doesn't really matter how fit you are, because I don't know a single bodybuilder. I know a lot of bodybuilders that are bulletproof. Okay, so in that case, that's a different story. But when I walk around, I mean, I'm walking around like if you approach me and you attack me, you're going to be in for it. So you better be ready. And that's the way that we need to be when we're dealing with these kind of situations. Don't appear to be that weak prey. So you want to take care of your body. You want to be fit. You want to look, even if you don't know how to fight, look like you do. It's just like when you're on vacation and you're a tourist. You don't want to be walking around snapping pictures of everything, because you stand out like a sore thumb. You look like somebody that doesn't belong. When I walk into a place, I walk in there like I own it, whether or not I belong or not. And I want you to take that same kind of position. So be very careful. Keep yourself fit. I want you to treat this body like you're developing a suit of armor, because that's what you need in today's trying times. So that's the message that I wanted to give out today. So having said that, let's get to our next topic, which is today in fitness. We're talking about fitness news. And the first topic that I wanted to talk to you about is a very topic. It's a topic that it exudes a lot of emotion, and it causes a lot of different reactions when you talk about it. It's basically referred to as an airline fat tax. And the question before us has been, should heavier passengers pay more than fit passengers? Basically, what the airlines are looking at are doing is charging flyers or travelers according to their weight. So let me just kind of summarize this. There has been a scholar, an economic scholar in Norway, and he has recommended that airline tickets costs be calculated according to a passenger's weight. Okay. Now, his reason for that, did some research, and he found that a reduction in 1 kilo or kilogram of weight, a kilogram equates to about 2.2 pounds. So a reduction of just 1 kilogram or 2.2 pounds of a plane will result in fuel savings equivalent to about $3,000. Okay, that's just 2.2 pounds. Let's say that's per person. You multiply that out by a full plane, that's a lot of fuel savings. So there's a lot of incentive for the airlines to do this, right? It's going to reduce their costs. And airlines are all about reducing costs and becoming more efficient. A year of that reduction can also have another benefit. It's going to help to reduce CO2 or carbon dioxide emissions. So what they're basically looking at doing is recommended that airlines will charge these overweight passengers more than lighter passengers or more fit passengers. So it's basically a pay-as-you-weigh kind of a plan. While I'm just going to read some of the segments in this article. While many airlines ask passengers of size to pay for an extra seat, none is known to give discounted fares to passengers who weigh less than average. Okay, so he's basically saying that heavier passengers cause an airplane to weigh more, forcing aircraft to use more fuel. Charging passengers according to weight could lead to health benefits for passengers, plus financial and environmental savings for the aviation industry. I think this is very pertinent, because now, as this virus, hopefully starts to get under control, people are going to be moving about more. Okay, the airline industry took a big hit, when this pandemic hit, because people just were fearful of traveling, and there were a lot of restrictions. There are a lot of people that places that you could not go to, and you had to take a lot of different steps, and you still do, before you can even travel. So once that starts to ease up, people are going to be moving about more. So this is very pertinent to that. So when we're talking about charging according to that, there was a debate about this very issue. Although it may provide significant benefits to the airlines, what effect does that have for passengers? So is that, some have argued that this is a discriminatory process, that it's basically fat shaming overweight individuals. And then other individuals that are more fit, well, they're saying, well, look, I should be charged less than an individual that may have to, may be so overweight that they're taking up 2 seats. And I've actually seen that before. So should that passenger that is morbidly obese and requires 2 seats be able to fly at the same rate as an individual that can fit into a single one? So that's the issue. Now, I'm curious to know, super producer, what do you think about that? Do you think that's fair? Is that discriminatory in your opinion? Do you think that more fit passengers have an argument saying that I should be given a discounted rate? Or do you side with the overweight passenger saying, listen, this is me, this is my body, I happen to be larger. It's unfair for you to charge me extra just because I'm overweight or because I might need to take into account I need a second seat. What are your thoughts on that?
That's totally discriminatory. Discriminatory. Totally discriminatory, man. I see it in the sense of, I understand, the concept there, but we're talking about individuals, human beings, and first and foremost, we're looking at, how they feel. And someone that is, let's say, obese is going to be self-conscious. Okay.
Okay.
There's going to be something there. Okay. So there's going to be that self-consciousness. There's going to be a bit of depression. You know, that person may be a male or female ready to go out and, let's say, just do some traveling, you know, could be the spark of their life right at that point. It could be a vacation.
Okay.
They could be going to visit family, but to be charged based on your weight, that to me is sickening. It's sickening. I mean,
Really?
yeah, it's sickening because it doesn't matter whether you're fit or you're not. If you want to actually conserve fuel, then what you do and what you need to do is look at how what your emissions are in regards to, flying plane. All right. So,
Okay.
I believe on average, you know, they're doing about maybe, and we might have to fact check this and come back to it. I think they're doing about 14,000, per plane in regards to gas.
Okay.
So, it just really depends on the actual make and model of the plane. Okay, so your average Boeing 747, let's say for like instance, Southwest, it's at the and again, we don't quote me on this. We will definitely do a fact check and come back to it. But I believe it's about 14,000 just to fill that plane up, to go wherever it needs to go and then to come back. Depending on the route of that plane that day. Okay, that's not the passenger's problem.
Okay. Gotcha.
Fueling fueling the plane is not the passenger's problem. Okay,
Right.
that's the airline's problem. That's the problem between government and the airlines as far as fuel, as far as the cost of fuel. That's
Yeah.
not the passenger's problem at all. Whether they be fit or they be obese, that's not the passenger's problem. It's not.
Okay.
And
Okay.
for the airlines to even want to look at this, I give it a thumbs down. I'm sorry, thumbs down.
Okay. Okay. All right. And I appreciate that viewpoint on that. Now let's look at it from a different perspective. So let's get away from the fuel. Let's just talk about strictly from the revenue standpoint. If I happen to be morbidly obese, I just can't. I'm not able to fit into a standard size airline seat. You recently traveled, so you know what those seats are like. These ain't big, luxurious seats, right? Unless you're maybe in the what do you call the section at the front? I forget. When you're
Yeah,
not coach, but
business class, for if that's business.
okay, business class. Okay, so unless you're flying in that arena, I'm sure there's more space there. But in the standard airline seat, there's not a whole lot of room. So if I'm a really big guy, I'm going to need a second seat. Should not. So and airline is a business. So is it fair for that airline to charge for that second seat that person needs because they just can't fit into a standard size seat? But by giving you two seats for the price of one, I'm losing out on revenue. So what are your thoughts on that?
Thumbs down, because I mean, you definitely okay. Here's the thing. As I said, in the beginning, someone that is obese they're going to have already some self consciousness about
Yeah.
themselves,
Yep.
right? So it's not like, okay, this is, back in the day, us growing up, we watched Fat Albert, and he was, I'm good. They're not doing that in
Right.
real life. They're not doing that in real life. I mean, you have some that have the confidence and say, hey, but 99% of that is, those who are obese, they don't feel that way, you know.
Mm.
So a trip is going to be a trip for them. That's exciting. You got to think about it. It's hard to get them out the house. Okay,
Okay. Okay.
it's going to be hard to get them out of the house, and then to put that type of restriction on them to say, okay, hey, look, we're going to be charging you by your weight.
Yeah.
Okay, someone is 300 pounds. What
Yeah.
does that actually mean? So I get a ticket, you see on Southwest, they have the, getaway fares, $59,
Yeah.
$49. Okay.
Yeah.
You're gonna charge me what, $200-$300 because of my weight?
Hmm. Okay. Okay.
That's that doesn't make sense. What you need to be doing is accommodating, as they do overseas, which I do know this for a fact.
Okay.
They accommodate that obesity. Okay.
So you're saying the airline should install on their planes larger seats?
Of course. I mean,
Okay.
it's not costing them anything. We're paying you already. I mean, I did. The flight is there. I mean, it's just like, as you said, I just recently traveled, and coming back here, come to find out, Southwest has done way better than United. Let's say what, Spirit. Who else do we have?
American.
American. They have done way better in regards to this pandemic. They have made massive changes in regards to this pandemic. They are now, considered, international. They're an international airline.
Okay.
Okay. They're moving. I don't know if you know. They're now. I think this year, starting this year. Yes, from what I heard from the flight attendant, the senior flight attendant, they're landing at O'Hare.
Really? I thought they were just Midway.
No, they're landing
For,
at Midway
for
and
those of you that are not familiar with the Chicago area, we have two primary airports: O'Hare, which is one of the largest in the country, and then Midway, which is a smaller airport. And typically, Southwest has had all their gates at Midway Airport. So I just want to throw that in. Go ahead.
yeah, they're landing at O'Hare. They're landing in Texas now. The major what is the big one? Is that San Antonio, the big airport that's in Texas?
I believe so. Yeah.
Yeah, they're landing there. They're moving to a couple of different other countries. So they're flying over, okay,
Hmm.
over the ocean, No, I mean, it's you don't put that on people. You don't put that on people,
I
especially
got you.
especially being obese. You don't put that on people. I mean, I know that I'm overweight. Yeah, okay, I'm 6'1" and a half. Mario, you know that I'm tall, and so
Right.
at about maybe 260, that's really not, that okay, 6'1" and a half, 260. If I was playing football and fully, buffed and everything, that's great. But since I'm not doing that, this is what I do for a living.
Right.
That is considered for me overweight, not obese, but overweight. Okay, as far as
Okay.
the doctor said. So I should be at about, about between 210, 215.
Okay.
So I'm not obese, but I'm overweight. So
Okay.
how do you calculate that? So you say they're going to charge based on 2.2 pounds.
Well, that was a recommendation. So they use that for as a calculation. So for every reduction in 1 kilo, which is equates in terms of our measurement form of measurement to 2.2 pounds. So if a person were just 2.2 pounds lighter, that would equate to about $3,000 in fuel savings over the course of a year for an airline. So that's kind of how they use that and threw that out.
Yeah, that's it. It's definitely not going to work because
I get.
again, because what you would have to do is you would have to, one, you would have to put a standard weight size, as far
Hmm.
as the passenger is concerned. So let's say, you're looking at saving this money, you know, you you have to look at that. You have to look at there has to be a general weight size. So let's say, okay, women, what? The average woman should be about what? 112, 115.
Okay, we can throw that. You can use that number.
The average man, what, 190?
Okay.
This would be your average.
Hmm.
So basically, this is your passenger base.
Okay, gotcha.
All right. Now let's look at it here. What do we do as far as a child? We know that children can be obese. Okay.
Sure, sure.
What do you do as a child? So you're going to tell a parent, well, look, we're going to charge you based on your child's weight.
So using that, so using that, do you think it's because they're looking at a couple different options as opposed to charging passengers by weight? Now, what about just charging? And this is what I've been looking at: simply charging an individual if they require a second seat. But you're
If
saying, but you're
they,
saying that's still kind of offensive. Is that correct?
it is still kind of offensive, but I can see that in that sense. Okay,
Yeah,
then you would charge them for a second seat. You
yeah,
know,
yeah.
I can say, okay, you would charge them for a second seat, but at the same time, charging them for a second seat doesn't mean that you are astronomically charging them. Okay, so let's say the ticket or round trip ticket they spend. Okay, we're just using Southwest right now, so let's say a round trip ticket, is like about $300. Okay,
Okay. All right. So that means I'm doubling the cost. So now it's $600 for me to fly round trip if I
right,
require that
right,
second seat.
right.
Okay.
I wouldn't double the cost because you have another seat. You know what I'm saying? I'm saying if this person is, that person based on them filling out the information online as far as booking a flight, if they say, okay, well, if they have that on there and they say, what is your weight size?
Mm-hmm.
And they add in the weight and they say, okay, well, I'm 310. All right.
Okay.
I would say it should be at least a fourth in the charging of the ticket.
Yeah, I can see. Yeah, and it's. I mean, this is such a hot topic, and it's very interesting to me. I could see where enforcement of it would just be a logistical nightmare, because if let's say I purchase my ticket online, and I am that 310-pound person, and I buy my ticket. It doesn't require me to input my weight online when I buy a ticket. But when I get there and I arrive at the airport and I'm boarded, I can't fit into that seat. So now what happens? I'm not. I require this second seat. I'm not able to fit into it. Do you have to move me? Are you going to charge me right there on the spot for it? It's just. Are they going to have trial seats at the airport that you have to fit into before you can board? I mean, how does that work? So one of the arguments that was on there, it says it makes sense if you're dealing with cargo because cargo can be heavier. If it's heavier, if you got a big bag, right now there's a weight limit on bags. I think it's 50 pounds. Anything other than that, you have to pay extra according to the additional weight.
Correct.
I get that. If cargo is heavy, you pay more. It gets a little bit lost in the translation if you're talking about people. We're dealing with something totally different. So I could see where that could be a big issue. It says that basically if you treat passengers like cargo, you're really affecting your relations with your customer base and that sort of thing. So
You're affecting the
is it
bottom.
really so is it really rewarding customers that are fit, or is it more so penalizing customers who are unfit and overweight? That's a big part of that discussion. So I'd like to throw that out to our audience too. At the end of the show, super producer is going to put up all our social media contact links, and I'd like you to respond. I want to get your feedback on that. What do you feel about this topic? Is it fair or unfair for airlines to either charge overweight passengers either for a second seat if they can't fit into one, or to charge by weight in the vein of fuel savings or operational cost savings. So I think it's a very interesting topic. So tell us what you think. I'd love to get the feedback, get the responses, and I'll talk about it during our next program. So thank you very much, Super Producer. I appreciate your input on that. Let's move on to our second topic, which is why coffee can be a good drink for weight loss. Now, this might be fantastic news to people that are regular coffee drinkers. I'm a coffee drinker myself. I got my mug here. And I know that, I'm not alone, because so many people start their day off with coffee, and not just starting your day off with it, but throughout the day in a lot of cases. So found this great article that is, it's been medically reviewed, backed by science, and it investigates this very topic. Can coffee actually aid an individual in their journey or quest for physical fitness and weight loss? And just some highlights of this article. Black coffee. Now, that's the coffee that we're talking about. Okay, I'm not talking about the coffee that you get at Starbucks. I'm not talking about, and no shade against Starbucks, but I'm not talking about those beverages, your caramel lattes or your white chocolate mochas or anything like that. I'm talking about black coffee. And I have used coffee by integrating it into my exercise regimen for years, once I found out about the benefits of it. But the thing is, I'm drinking black coffee. Black coffee in and of itself is a great drink to use in terms of enhancing your workout results. And I'll talk to you about how I use that. So some of the highlights of this article that I found: black coffee is a good drink for weight loss, as long as you drink it in moderation and without too many added sugars. That's where we fall short. People get their coffee, but we're adding in the sweeteners, the creamers, the flavors, that sort of thing. And that's where the benefits of coffee are lost. It basically becomes almost the equivalent of a caffeinated beverage, like your Coke or your Pepsi or whatever the case might be. However, it states coffee can lead to unhealthy weight gain if you don't drink it black, as many popular coffee beverages are loaded with extra sugar or calories. To drink coffee for a weight loss, don't add sugar and try not to have more than 4 cups per day. So those are some of the highlights of this article, and I wanted to dive into that a little bit more. Now, when I talk about the popularity of coffee itself, the global population consumes on average about 160 million bags of coffee a year. That's a whole lot of coffee. So this is a very popular beverage. In a lot of cases, it's probably the most common beverage that individuals will drink, right behind caffeinated beverages. Unfortunately, water falls well behind that. Why is coffee good or beneficial for weight loss? Coffee contains nutrients, and those nutrients are included in that are things like niacin, potassium, you get magnesium, there are antioxidants, all of which can help to do things like improve your digestive health, support muscle function, and can lead to better heart health. It also contains caffeine. Now, that's how I use coffee for my workout regimen. Coffee helps to boost metabolism, and it improves your energy levels, and it can promote weight loss. Now, the way that I utilize coffee, I'll drink a cup of black coffee before I perform cardio. I got more energy. I'm burning fat more efficiently, and it basically energizes me. So, and it's helping me to burn more fat as I go through that cardio process. So whether I'm on a treadmill or I'm jogging or I'm jumping rope or whatever the case might be, I'm drinking a cup of black coffee just for those benefits. Some of the other benefits of it: coffee is just naturally in and of itself a low-calorie beverage. Weight loss in and of itself is basically attributed to caloric deficit. What does caloric deficit mean? It means that I am taking in fewer calories than I burn off. It's simple as that. Okay, it's not rocket science. When you consume more calories, fewer calories than you burn, the effect of that is going to be weight loss. So how do you actually do that? What are you looking at when you're talking about consuming calories? Less than 5 calories per serving in an 8-ounce cup of coffee. So it's a very low-cal drink. Caffeine helps to boost your metabolism. I talked a little bit about that earlier. What is metabolism? That's the process by which your body breaks down the food that you take and converts it into energy. Okay. Caffeine, a stimulant, that's found in coffee has, it helps to increase your what's called a BMR, or basal metabolic rate. That's the rate at which you burn calories while you're resting. So I just had a cup of coffee, right? Cup of black coffee. And just sitting here or talking to you, I'm actually burning calories because of that. That's my basal metabolic rate. So there's been a lot of studies to support this. In 2018, there was a study that found that participants who drank varying levels or amounts of coffee over the course of 2 months had greater a greater amount of metabolites, which are a product of metabolism. So that's just another benefit of consuming coffee as a beverage to assist in your weight loss journey. Caffeine can also help decrease your feelings of hunger. It helps to give you a feeling of what's known as satiety, or basically a feeling of fullness. Appetite in and of itself is the result of several factors. So the types of foods that you eat, the amount of physical activity that you perform, and hormones. Okay. Now, one of the studies that has been shown is that by consuming coffee, you're reducing your levels of ghrelin. Ghrelin is the hormone that makes you feel hungry. So when you reduce that, basically you're assisting your body in that feeling of fullness. You're not eating as much. So those are some of the benefits. Now, on the flip side, coffee can also lead to unhealthy weight gain. How does that occur? How do we take a beverage that's got 5 calories per serving per 8-ounce cup and convert it into something bad? It's no different than eating a salad. Just a salad by itself, the right kind of salad when you just got your veggies is great. What we do is we turn that salad into something else when we load it with, the creamy salad dressings, bacon bits and croutons and all kinds of cheeses and that sort of thing. You've taken something that's inherently good and turned it into something that's detrimental in terms of your health. Coffee's the same way. When you take that coffee and you start adding, you start to add all kinds of sweeteners and flavorings to it, now it's become something that's detrimental. Some coffee drinks, the kind that you get just off of the store shelf or out of the cooler section of a gas station or whatever, they are loaded with caffeine, and there's a lot of them out there. So we're talking about the little frappuccino drinks that come in the bottles, and that's not coffee. All right, that's become something else. It can also help to, so when you're doing that, you're basically reversing that caloric deficit into a caloric surplus. And that's the opposite of what you want to do. Caffeine can also help. What caffeine also does is it reduces your amount of effective or efficient sleep, productive sleep. Caffeine blocks what's known as adenosine. And adenosine basically these are receptors that bring on that feeling of drowsiness. All right. So when you're blocking those, you're more apt to be active and up and busy, and it's harder to become to get into a relaxed state. That's why if you're trying to fall asleep in that, you don't want to drink coffee. You're trying to stay up, just like when I was in college and I had the final exam I was preparing for. I was drinking coffee. Okay, it was helping me to stay up and awake and alert, and to cram for those study sessions and that sort of thing. So you want to watch that because what happens is when you're blocking those, you feel more awake. My suggestion is to cut off your consumption of caffeine 6 to 7 hours before bedtime. That allows time for that caffeine to burn off. You're able to get into a more of a relaxed state and ready for bed. How do you use it for weight loss? To receive the health benefits that coffee provides, the recommendation is no more than 4 8-ounce cups of coffee per day. Okay, that equates to about 40 milligrams of caffeine. Okay, anything more than that, you're starting to have some detrimental effects from it. Now, what most people experience, when I say black coffee, a lot of people are like, ugh, I don't want no part of that. I'm used to, the hazelnut creamers and the sugars and all that to, make it, tasty. Some people even put whipped cream on their coffee and that sort of thing. My recommendation is to kind of wean yourself off of it. So what I mean by that, if you're used to drinking coffee with 4 tablespoons of sugar in it, which is a whole lot of sugar, start off by going from that 4 to 3. Try that for a week, and then cut back to 2, and then cut back to 1. If you're used to putting 4 squirts of your cream, the flavored creamer in your French vanilla creamer in your coffee, cut it back to 3 or cut it to 2. and then slowly reduce it, because coffee, when it's black, it can be bitter and it takes a while. It's kind of an acquired taste. So you want to start to wean yourself off of that. If you must have sweetener in your coffee, I'm going to give you some recommendations. You might want to write these down. There's some flavorings called erythritol. That's one. Monk fruit extract is another one. Let me get that spelling back, because I see super producer kind of eyes bugged out of his head a little bit. It's Erythritol. Okay, so that's one. Monk fruit extract, MONK, fruit extract. Plant-based sweeteners, things like stevia, that's pretty common. Yacon syrup, YACON syrup is another one. There are also sugar alcohols that are out there. Xylitol and maltitol are two that you could look at. And these are healthier alternatives to sweeten your sugar, your coffee, if that's what you choose to do. So again, kind of wean yourself off of it when you're doing that. And then make sure, again, you adhere to those restrictions, no more than 4 cups of coffee per day. So you can use coffee to your benefit. It's just a matter of how you actually consume that. So, producer, are you a coffee drinker?
I am a coffee drinker,
Okay,
but
but
I've been slowing down on coffee. I mean, when I say I was a coffee drinker.
okay,
So my day started before the pandemic kicked in and everything. My day was you know coffee, non-dairy creamer, one Reese's little pack of
oh, the
sweet.
flavors, yeah.
Yeah, and that was a large. That large would last me till about 12, and then I'm on the second cup. That
Okay,
till about 4, and then I'm on the third cup. So these are 3 large cups. Okay,
okay, I got you.
and for me, the crash was just ridiculous. The crash was
When you come down off of it.
yeah. So listening to that this segment here, as far as coffee being great for weight loss, that just why my head is kind of like really.
Yeah, how about it? How
Yeah.
about it?
Okay. All right. Maybe I'll utilize that in my regimen. Maybe one. You're saying what 4 8-ounce cups a day.
4 8-ounce cups. So it's no different than when I give recommendations about water intake. 8 ounces is a cup. So that's your barometer. So if you got a 16-ounce cup of coffee that you get from the gas station, or you brew at home, 2 of those. Okay, so that's basically the limit. You want to limit that to 4 8-ounce cups of coffee. But again, when you think about it, if you are loading up that, and I see people all the time with like 32-ounce cups of coffee, right? And then they add the sugar, and then they add the sweetener. Before you know it, you're basically drinking the equivalent of a soda. So the benefits of that coffee basically go right out the window. So you can see where those calories are going to add up real quickly, and that's why you get that crash, because it's just like when you eat a candy bar. You get that energy spike, but once you hit that wall, it just comes crashing down again. So there's no difference there. So it's really how you prepare it. How you're having that coffee, and again, it is a acquired taste. But like I said, it's much easier when you wean yourself off of it slowly, and start to reduce the amount of additives that you put into that cup of coffee.
Yeah, definitely, I could definitely agree with you on that because it has been a lot, different, in regards to weaning off of the coffee the way that I was drinking coffee, uh,
Hmm.
till to now. So it's I might have I think it is I think the small one there is 8 ounces. I think the small one,
Okay.
yeah, I think
Okay.
8 ounces. Either that one or the next one up. I think the next one up is like 12.
Okay. Got you. Got you.
So,
Okay. So it's,
but
it's it's easy calculation basically when you're doing it that way.
yeah, but it's a rarity, for me, if I'm doing coffee, there's some stress going on. Okay,
Okay.
you
Okay.
know, and just so I'm dealing with some things and trying to get this done and things of that nature. And so that's when I'll have the coffee. And
Gotcha.
but I mean, for weight loss, I don't know. Maybe I'll try that. Try it for a month and see how that works out.
Well, I'll tell you what, if we happen to have any listeners that maybe work for Folgers or Maxwell House or that sort of thing, let's talk, because maybe we can have you as part of the show and you can sponsor this this particular program. So that could be a fantastic opportunity for you. So having said that, let's move on to our next topic, which is celebrity fitness news. I've been looking forward to this one simply because I am a big fan of the individual that this segment focuses on. And this article that I've kind of dug up and pieced together and reviewed has to do with very popular singer Adele. Now, Adele Atkins is her full name. And if you've noticed, if you follow her career at all, she has undergone a dramatic transformation in terms of her weight loss. She looks fantastic. Now, you can obviously tell that she's done a lot of work. This isn't something that came easy, I'm sure, but the results speak for themselves. Just look at that side-by-side comparison. Now, one of the benefits that I've noticed is that a lot of times when singers lose a lot of weight, sometimes it affects the quality of the voice. That's why you have these debates about Skinny Luther and Big Luther. Remember that? Luther Vandross, fantastic singer, and then a lot of people didn't like it as much when he lost all the weight. Her voice has remained just as strong. And that's totally my opinion. Someone might disagree with that. I don't believe that she's lost a step. Now, what is the cause of that? How did she actually get to that point? So here's some highlights from the article that I found out about her. She's lost an estimated 98 pounds. So basically, she lost or shed the weight equivalent to a small person. Some of the topics in this article state that nearly 2 years after their split, Adele Atkins and her estranged husband, Simon Konecki, are now close to reaching a divorce settlement. Now, here's my own personal opinion. I think that all the trials and tribulations that go along with a divorce might have had a little bit to do with that weight loss, just because stress can have numerous effects. One of those is lack of appetite. So that could have, in a roundabout way, affected this weight loss. But there's more to it than that. It's stated that she filed a judgment package with Los Angeles back on January 15th, and that they used mediation to carve up their properties and fortune and that sort of thing. So she had a lot of stuff going on. And I think that also resulted in her wanting to make these changes that are so obvious in her appearance now. So what did she do in order to achieve that? And now I'm not just talking about the stress of going through the divorce and that sort of thing, but she engaged in what's known as it's called the Cert Food Diet. And this was a book or a method of dieting that was basically became popularized in 2016 by a couple of nutritionists from the United Kingdom. And it comes in separate steps. And I've been fairly familiar with it. And then once, I found out, because she was very hesitant to reveal what she did. A lot of people thought she had maybe gastric bypass surgery or stomach stapling and that sort of thing. Evidently, that's not the case. The way that the Cert Food Diet works, there's a couple of phases of it. The first step in the diet actually activates proteins in the body. These are called serotins. And what happens is, and these come naturally from foods like berries and dark chocolate and wine. They help to boost your metabolism and decrease inflammation. So those are kind of the foundational foods of the Cert Foods diet. The first phase, in the first week, it's very caloric restrictive. You're not taking in a whole lot of calories. In fact, under this diet, you're restricted to about 1,000 calories. Okay, it's real easy to come up with 1,000 calories. A Big Mac in and of itself is probably about 850. All right, so just putting that into comparison, and that's all you're hitting for the day. Okay, so most people will follow that up with a drink, which is basically considered to be green juice. So it's got things like kale and spinach and that sort of thing in the form of a smoothie. That's, after you've as part of that first phase. And the second phase of the diet, you're basically drinking that cup of green juice along with 3 balanced meals that are rich in cert foods, and you do that for 2 weeks. Okay. After the initial 3 weeks, you're still encouraged to eat these meals that are rich in cert foods and continue drinking this green juice. A lot of people use it for, with their New Year's fitness resolutions and that sort of thing. But keep in mind, again, it is very restrictive. So she had a couple of reasons for doing this. It stated that she first looked to improve her diet back in 2012 after she gave birth to her son. And she cut out drinking her usual 10 cups of sugary tea a day, and she cut back on her smoking of cigarettes. So those are 2 huge steps in terms of overall making overall improvements to your levels of fitness. So having done that, that kind of started the ball rolling with her. She even made an appearance recently on Saturday Night Live, and she made a very funny comment, I thought, when she went on that show. And let's see, when she appeared on there, she kind of joked that because of the pandemic, you have to travel lighter. And this is so I had to cut some weight. So this was the half that of myself that I chose to bring here to New York City. So she took this process very seriously. Now, one of the things that, in addition to that cert foods diet, it's not just dieting. She also sought the assistance of a personal trainer. She was very dedicated to her fitness regimen. She was, going through her routines religiously because that kind of transformation does not occur easily. It doesn't occur overnight. She's obviously stuck with it. She's made the change, and the changes appear to be very consistent. I mean, again, just look at that. That is fantastic. Now, I want people to understand that this kind of a transformation, the kind that you just saw on the screen, is hard work. Okay, and celebrities do tend to have an advantage. It's not like they're working a regular job. Okay, they do things that are different. So they have the funds to have that personal chef, that personal trainer. They have the time to spend in that gym. So they have a lot of advantages that, the average everyday person might not have. So that's why I'm always cautious when I use these celebrity transformation stories. I want to let you know and enforce the fact that, we're talking about people that, just have a different lifestyle, but that's not to say that you can't achieve the same kind of results. So again, my hat's off to Adele. She's just done a fantastic job. I thought this was a great article about her. And if you'd like to know more about the Cert Foods diet, I've got a lot of information on it. You can contact me. I'm going to put up that contact information after the show. And if you are interested in it, particularly what goes into that green juice beverage and that sort of thing, I'd be happy to share that with you. So you can reach out to me and get that information. So that leads us into the topic of the day. Our topic of the show today is basically lose the belly fat, part 2. Part 1 was last week. Now we're finishing it up. How do we go about losing that excess body fat that we have around our midsection, our abdominals, our obliques, even that back fat, because that lower back is part of our core also? How do we go about burning that effectively and efficiently? We left off with item number 10. We're picking up with item number 11. There's 20 steps to this. Item number 11, pretty obvious. You want to avoid sugar-sweetened beverages. Okay. Sugar-sweetened beverages, they're loaded with a sugary substance called fructose that can make you gain belly fat. So studies have shown that sugary drinks also lead to increased fat in the liver. Okay, there was a study that found out that the abdominal fat that was gained in people who consumed high amounts of fructose containing beverages, resulted in the development of additional body fat. They even appear to be worse than high sugar content foods. Why is that? Because beverages are simply absorbed into the body, into the bloodstream, quicker than foods. Okay, foods have to be broken down because they're in more of a solid form as opposed to liquid, which is absorbed rather quickly. If you want to lose belly fat, it's best to completely avoid sugar-sweetened beverages. I mean, if you're really serious about this, you want to cut out the things like the soda, the punch, the sweet tea, alcoholic mixers that contain a lot of sugar. So these are all sources of high amounts of sugar. You want to eliminate or reduce those things from your everyday diet. You want to make sure that you get plenty of restful sleep. Sleep is important for many aspects of your health, including your weight. Studies have shown that people who don't get enough sleep gain more weight. And it's gonna equate to additional body fat as well. There's one study that I uncovered in this article. It's a 16-year long-term study that it observed the sleeping habits of over 68,000 women. It found that those who slept less than 5 hours a night were significantly more likely to gain weight than those individuals or those women that slept more than 7 hours per night. So you want to make sure you're getting plenty of restful sleep. Allow your body to wind down. Make sure that you're not conducting activities that are going to be stressful. Things that allow you to relax so that you're enabled to make sure that you're able to get that restful sleep. You want to create an environment that's going to be more conducive to restful sleep. One of the things that I had to do, because sleep is still an issue for me, I had to take the television out of the bedroom. And that seems like such a simple thing to do, but it was very effective because I found that at the end of the night, I'm watching the news. A lot of news is stressful. Just think about what we went through last year. Every news story led off with coronavirus, what was going on with the president, wars, all these things that kind of get you hyped up. And I found it hard to wind down. I had to take my television out of the bedroom, and that helped a lot. Track your food intake and your levels of exercise. Okay, there are a lot of things that can help you to lose belly fat, but consuming fewer calories than your body needs is essential for weight maintenance and essentially weight loss. So you want to make sure that you're tracking how many calories you're taking in. Remember, the key to weight loss is basically going into caloric deficit. You want to burn off more calories than you actually consume. Consider increasing your intake of fatty fish every week. So what does fish do? Fatty fish, incredibly healthy. It sounds kind of bad when you say fatty fish, but it's a good source of fat. Okay. What we're talking about is omega-3 fat. And this can help to reduce the levels of visceral fat. That's fat around the organs and that sort of thing. So the goal when you're talking about eating fatty fish, you want to get 2 to 3 servings of fatty fish per week. And let me give you some good sources of this. Salmon is an excellent choice. Herring is a great choice. Sardines, mackerel, anchovies. So those are kind of the top ones in that realm. So increase your intake of that. You're going to get some good results from it. Stop drinking fruit juice. Okay, fruit juice. The name of it is so misleading. It's like somebody took, an apple or a pear or an orange and just squeezed it fresh into a bottle and put it on the store shelves that says simply orange or natural apple juice and that sort of thing. You look on the bottom of those labels sometimes, and they are loaded with sugar. I mean, tons of sugar in that. So very deceptive. Even those that say 100% natural fruit juice, you got to look at those labels to find out what's going on. A lot of those fruit juice, frankly, contain as much sugar as soda. Okay, I'm just being straight with you. So if you don't believe me, go to the grocery store, get yourself a can of pop. I don't care what pop you want to choose. Grab yourself a bottle of fruit juice and look at the labels and make the comparison yourself. You will see that what I'm talking about is not just numbers that I'm pulling out of thin air. It is realistic. So I want you to take a look at that. Abdominal fat gain is one of the side effects of drinking fruit juice. For example, an 8-ounce serving of apple juice can contain 24 grams of sugar. Okay, half of that is fructose. So if you want to reduce those levels of belly fat, you want to reconsider your consumption of so-called fruit juice. Okay, add apple cider vinegar to your diet. Okay, apple cider vinegar has a lot of health benefits. It helps to lower your blood sugar. Okay, so those of you that are affected by high blood sugar, you might want to consider adding that into your diet. It contains acetic acid, which has been known to reduce levels of abdominal fat storage. Okay, so apple cider vinegar. Now, it takes a minute to get used to it. Okay, so a lot of people will they'll cut it with water, they'll add it to tea, that sort of thing. I got to a point where I'm able to just kind of drink it straight down. But it's pretty strong. Okay, but there's a lot of health benefits to apple cider vinegar, and it's relatively inexpensive. That's one of the benefits of it. Okay, so apple cider vinegar is something else that you might want to include. Probiotic foods or probiotic supplements are another one. Probiotics are simply bacteria that are found in some foods and supplements. Okay, they got a lot of health benefits. They help to increase or improve your gut health. They enhance immune function. And during this pandemic, everything we've learned about coronavirus is very important to increase our immune system and boost those immune systems. So consider that when you're making your dietary choices. Intermittent fasting. I've talked about that a little bit. In fact, I've done a show. I put several posts up about intermittent fasting. Basically, what you're doing is you're consuming all your foods within an 8-hour window. And it's very easy to do. Basically, what got me to utilizing this practice, I look at it as skipping breakfast. So all my meals are consumed between 12 o'clock in the afternoon and 8 o'clock at night. After that window, I do not eat. Okay, so now if you've got a schedule, maybe you work, a different kind of a shift in that, you can pick your own 8-hour window. But after that window, you don't consume again. So basically, what happens is you've got 8 hours. There's 24 hours in a day, so it's basically 16 and 8. So 8 hours are the times that I can eat. The other 16 hours, I'm fasting. That's basically what intermittent fasting is all about. And I've gotten a lot of huge benefits out of it, and it's very simple to do. Now, within that 8-hour window, you're still making sure that you're consuming healthy foods, but it's a great way to go. Intermittent fasting. Drink green tea. That's another benefit. That's item number 19. Very healthy beverage. It contains caffeine and several antioxidants that appear to do things like boost that metabolism. So you want to take a look at that. And then finally, change your lifestyle and combine different methods. Just some basic things can have good results on that. So in terms of making sure you're making proper meal selections, you're exercising, you're doing things that are going to benefit you. So if you're in a rut, if you're stuck, if you find that, man, I just cannot get this weight off, you might want to take a look at the habits that you currently engage in and make some healthy changes. So those are the tips that that I wanted to share with you in terms of increasing your availability or your options to reduce that belly fat. So parts 1 and 2, if you did happen to miss part 1, go back and look at the archived episode of last week's show where we talked about lose the belly fat, and that was part 1. So hopefully you got some good information out of that. And super producer, got anything to add before we move on to our fitness tip of the week?
I like the green tea. I like the green tea. That's something that I need to think about. I mean, these are this is good information. For me as far as running into my routine outside of just exercising or cardio. So like I said, I'm gonna look at the coffee.
Okay.
Look at that. Uh, um, the apple cider vinegar. I do have that, and I've kind of moved away from that. And I've heard about, because I heard about that as far as apple cider vinegar, but I've kind of moved away from it. I'm not even really sure why, but
Okay.
that the green tea just kind of it's kind of hitting me to routinely get back into the routine, and and so that is just my better half. She's said a lot that you have said, so it's just kind of getting back into that routine, and then again, of course, keeping the immune system up. That's definitely out here today. Vitamin D, vitamin E, your B12 complex. That definitely vitamin C. Really helps people as far as keeping the immune system. So,
Okay. Gotcha.
see if we can get Puritan Pride in here to sponsor that segment.
That's good. Great idea. Great idea, man. Okay. All right. So that leads us into our fitness tip of the week. Especially when we're right now we're in the winter season, so a lot of individuals are, we've got these extreme weather changes. Inclement weather. Sometimes it might be freezing rain. Sometimes it's snow. Temperature drop extremes, that sort of thing. So particularly here in the Midwest where we are. So that brings up the question of, should I work out? Should I not work out if I'm feeling under the weather? Fitness tip of the week is no, before you go. So what I want you to do is to get into the habit of, you're going to be performing what's called a neck check. So what exactly is a neck check? You're making a determination of how it is that you actually feel. So when you're performing that neck check, what you're doing is you're determining where are the symptoms emanating from. So if it's above the neck, stuffy nose, maybe you've got a fever, maybe you got the sniffles and that sort of thing. If you're interested in exercising, you got a green light to do it. Below the neck, body aches, chills, joint pain, that sort of thing, respiratory issues. You're not able to breathe properly because it's coming from the lungs and that sort of thing. So go to bed. Okay, so neck check. Where are the symptoms coming from? Above the neck. Okay, green light, go ahead and work out and exercise. Make sure you take precautions. You don't want to get anybody else sick. But in that case, you're an athlete or you're training and that sort of thing, go ahead, get that exercise in. If those symptoms are coming from below the neck, it's best to stay home, stay in bed, take care of yourself, and get better that way. So that is the exercise fit tip of the week. Conduct a neck check. All right. Now, this is normally the segment where we go through and we perform our exercise of the week. Today, we got something a little special, a little different. Up until now, we've conducted and demonstrated 5 different exercises. Okay, we've done thigh slide crunches. We've demonstrated those. Crucifix curls, side lunges, unilateral dumbbell rows, and Pilé squats. What we're going to do today, as opposed to showing a new exercise, we're going to string those 5 exercises together, and we're going to put together a circuit set of exercises. So what I'm going to do is pop out of my chair. We're going to go through those exercises, and we're going to perform each one of those for a predetermined amount of repetitions or time, all right? So what I'm doing is I'm going to utilize a timer. Okay. So what I'm going to do, but just for sake of time, I'm going to set this timer for 30 seconds. We're going to perform each of these exercises for 30 seconds. And then we're going to take a break, and then we repeat the process. So that's essentially what a circuit set is. So let's get going with that. I'm going to get this chair out of the way. And super producer, hopefully you can see me where I'm going to line this up, because I'm going to start with a floor-based exercise. This is our thigh slide crunch. So I've got myself positioned on a mat. Am I in focus pretty well?
Yes, indeed, you are.
All right. I appreciate it. So we've got our timer. Okay, this is an ordinary old kitchen timer. You can use a feature on your watch. You can use your phone, whatever the case might be, and you can set your own segment times as you deem necessary. So I'm just using 30 seconds because of the sake of time for the show. But you can set it for 45 seconds, a minute, 2 minutes, however long you want to perform your exercise. You can also set it for repetition. So if you want to do 15 reps per set, you can do that too. I'm just using time. So I've got my timer set. I'm going to get in position. So we're taking a bent leg position. My feet are flat. I'm coming down toward the surface of the floor. My arms are extended out to the sides, and I'm going to begin my thigh slide crunches. Here we go, 30 seconds. I'm keeping my hands low. They're basically coasting along the surface of the floor, not actually making contact with the floor, but it's a nice, smooth kind of a movement. I'm not allowing my shoulders to completely touch the floor or flatten out. That enables me to keep a nice contraction in my abdominals even when I'm in that down position. My breathing is inhale as I go down and exhale as I come up. If you hear that beeping, that means my timer just went off. You just performed 30 seconds of that particular exercise. Next movement, we're going to go from abdominals to an upper body exercise. Our crucifix curls. I'm going to have a dumbbell, one in each hand, and of course, I'm going to have to reposition our camera. And again, hopefully I remain in focus. All right, good enough. Got our timer set. Crucifix curls. I'm going to extend the arms out to the sides. I'm going to keep those level. I'm going to curl the dumbbells in and out. Let me get that timer set. And here we go. Working those biceps. Going to extend it out under control. Going to curl it in. Keeping a nice tight core. My breathing pattern is inhale, as I'm bringing the dumbbells up. Exhale as I bring them back out. Crucifix curls, really working those biceps. I'm getting some tricep action in there. I'm even working the forearms. Crucifix curls, our second exercise. By the way, the weights that I'm using, 10 pounds. You don't have to have a ton of weight when you're performing that. Next exercise are our side lunges. So I'm going to position my feet just so. So I've got my right foot, in this case, with the toe pointed forward. My left foot is out at a slight angle. What I'm doing with these is I'm going to come out to the side and then right back up. I'm going to drop this camera just a little bit so you can see more of the movement and the foot positioning. Wide stance, and here we go. 30 seconds, we're beginning. And back up. Inhale down, exhale up. Side lunges, nice and smooth. I'm trying to keep my back nice and straight. I don't want to hunch forward as I perform this. You can also add a little something extra. I could have a pair of dumbbells in my hands as I'm making that descent. I'm curling up. As I stand, I bring the arms down. I'm switching positions now. I'm going to go to the opposite side. Again, 30 seconds. Here we go. Inhale down, exhale up. Side lunges. Good. Nice tight core. Going off to the side. Very good. If you're doing with these with me, let's get it. Good. Another 3 seconds. One more ought to do it. Excellent. Next up is a unilateral dumbbell row. I've got my weight. I'm going to start with the weight in my right hand. I'm going to bring my back foot, which is in this case my right foot, it's back, toe is out at an angle. My lead foot, which is my left, is pointed just slightly inward. Give me a nice base. I'm going to bend over at the torso. I anchor my non-working hand, which is my left, just over the knee. And I'm going to start this rowing action, keeping the arm in close to the body. Let's go. Nice and smooth. Full extension. Bringing that dumbbell up. Getting a nice contraction at the top. I like to throw in a little extra. When I'm at the top, I squeeze those muscles. Bringing it in and back out. 3 seconds. Good, and switch. Again, you select your weight. In my instance, I'm using a 40. You select whatever weight is most appropriate for you. Let's go with that left side on 3, 2, and 1. Catch that earbud, make sure it doesn't fall out. Good contraction at the top. Nice smooth movement. Don't jerk the weight. Control it as it's going down just as much as you control it as you're bringing it up. Every exercise has 2 actions, concentric and eccentric. We'll get into that at a later show. Timer just went off. We've got one more exercise to perform. That exercise is a Pilé squat. I'm going to have to reset our timer for, again, 30 seconds. Pilé squat. I'm going to position my weight just in front of me. You can use a dumbbell. You can also use a kettlebell if you happen to have one. If you've got neither, you can find some kind of household item that's got any decent amount of weight that you can utilize to perform this activity. Taking a wide stance. Feet are outside of the shoulder, so it's a wide, beyond shoulder width stance. I got my weight in the center. I'm going to grab it. I'm going to start my timer. Pilé squats. Bringing that weight straight down and up. Inhale as I go down. Blow it out as you come back up. Just holding that weight. I can also position my dumbbell this way. If you want to get a little extra out of it, you can position your feet on platforms or anything that will elevate you above the surface of the floor that will allow for a deeper stretch. That is our Pilé squat, and that was our 5th exercise in that routine. If you're going along with us for that routine, or if you happen to be watching this episode at a later date, make sure that you set however many sets that you want to perform. So if you want to go for 5 sets, that's fine. After you perform that 5th exercise, give yourself a little break. Maybe give you 60 seconds, maybe 2 minutes, depending on your ability to recover. What you want to do is you can either utilize a rest period where you're just kind of standing in place, or you can do what's called active rest. So an active rest period, even though it's a break, I'm still active. So I'm doing things. So I might be, maybe it's a light jog in place. Maybe I'm throwing cross punches with a little bit of a dip. And that's my actual rest period. And then I start again with my first exercise, which in our case was the thigh slide crunch. And you repeat that for 3 sets, 5 sets, 10 sets, whatever it is you want. So again, 5 great exercises that we've explained and demonstrated throughout our broadcast. And now today, we strung them together for the first time. So congratulations if you did those along with me. If you want more information, I can actually put together a nice little training regimen. You send me an email, include your email address, and I'll send you over that routine. Next week, we're going to pick up with a brand new exercise of the week, and that's going to be the start of our next grouping of 5. So every show, we're going to reveal a new exercise, we're going to demonstrate it, and then we're going to string them all together for a circuit set like we did today. So hopefully that was a benefit to you, and we're going to be ready to show you another exercise for next week. So very excited to bring that to you. Super producer, any response back from that? How you feeling?
I am doing great. People, this has been the Vanguard Fitness Hour with your host, Mario Kuntz, the fitness guru show. We are going to jump back on that topic as far next week as far as the airplanes, because I'm doing some fact I'm doing some fact checking here. The estimated 3,500 gallons of fuel jet cost is about $7,000.
Oh.
So I wasn't too far off.
Yeah.
I wasn't too far off.
That's great, man. That's great.
Yeah. So
it's a very hot topic. So I'm looking forward to getting your feedback as well as the feedback from the audience on that.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely want to jump on that again next week. That's been pretty much it. I mean, people, once again, every week, look for the show topics, look for your celebrity fitness news, the exercise of the week. So monthly, we'll probably be doing that routine, and once a month, you get your whole routine all together. So it'll be about between 4 to 5, depending on what Mario wants to do. I will be back with you all next week as the super producer.
Yes, the one and only.
What took place, making sure that you guys know what's going on with me. Again, thank you so much for joining WDHR Radio Broadcasting Digital Network and the Vanguard Exercise Management Fitness Guru.
Yes. Hey, thank you so much. Next week's topic is to return or not to return the gym decision. So we're talking about if people are planning on going back into the gyms and what their take on that is. So that's our next topic, which will be Friday, February 5th at 11 o'clock right here on WDHR.
They don't need to. No. Virtual exercise is better. And
in closing,
out there. We don't know what's out there. I mean, you got variants. Another virus may come in called the pig disease. We don't know.
You never know in this environment. Anything coming up on WDHR radio that our listeners and viewers need to know about?
I may step out and do a live broadcast tomorrow for the Slaughterhouse Saturday.
Slaughterhouse Saturdays.
Yeah. I got my best friend. He's supposed to be coming through tomorrow, so he loves, him and the wife, they love to see me play, and he's an advocate postman. We call him the postman on Facebook. So he posts, mixes from all around the world. I mean, I think outside of cooking, because he's an immaculate chef, man, and the dude is just ridiculous.
Wow, really? Okay.
Outside of that, I think he found another niche. He's a househead like us.
Okay, great.
Yeah, we started at 11 years of age, with house, so definitely super duper might step out tomorrow, do a live broadcast at the Slaughterhouse Saturday.
All right, looking forward to that, man.
So I didn't put it out there, so I guess I got to do it.
Yeah, you got to do it. Well, we'll be looking forward to it, man. We'd love to hear you perform, man, and give us some entertainment over this weekend. Those clubs are shut down, so we need to have the club right at home if we can.
Oh, definitely. You may get a chance to see, the better half, Miss Kim, do her thing.
Oh, that's my buddy right there.
Oh yeah, because I'm about ready to retire. I think I should retire, dude.
No. I'm sorry. Request denied.
I think I should retire.
All right, folks. Well, in the meantime, thanks for another opportunity to share some information with you. We're glad you were here. We look forward to seeing you again next week. That's going to be Friday, February 5th. And until that next time, remember the Vanguard motto: train hard, eat clean, stay focused. We'll see you next week. Thanks to Super Producer, and we'll see you all back here 1 week from today.
All right, guys. Peace.